So back in November last year, I was doing wrestling and hurt my wrist during a training session. I finished off the training session and then went back home. The pain stayed the same. And then for another 3 days, I just kept dealing with the pain, but it was still the same as when I first hurt it. Since the pain level was staying the same, I decided to go to the hospital and get it checked out. They did an x-ray of my wrist and said that there's nothing broken, it's just a sprain. But in the wrist, there's a small bone called the scaphoid, and that often gets missed in x-rays. So as a precaution, they put a non-removable cast on it and told me to come back after a few weeks. When I came back to the hospital, they did a few tests. They were feeling my wrist, checking in certain areas if I was feeling pain, but they came to the conclusion that it's definitely not broken, and they sent me back on my way. And still after that, I decided to rest it for a couple more weeks, and then I got back into training. But the pain would just not go away, especially when I would punch with my wrist at a bad angle without proper technique. Then the pain would be a lot. But I just thought I'm probably overthinking it and continued on training anyway, since the doctors had already done an x-ray on it. Fast forward to about 6 or 7 months later, I was still feeling the same amount of pain in my wrist, so I decided to get an MRI on it. And guess what? This entire time, the bone was actually broken. It was the scaphoid as well. So like I mentioned before, that scaphoid bone often gets missed on x-rays, and turns out that the hospital, when they checked it, it got missed over there. So yeah, I've been training on a broken wrist for more than 7 or 8 months now. And that specific bone, the scaphoid, that bone also doesn't get a lot of blood supply. So the fact that it's been 8 months now and it hasn't healed means that it probably never will on its own. So that's why the doctors have recommended doing surgery where they'll put a screw inside the bone to join it together. So I've got the surgery in about 3 months from now. I'm going to be super mindful about how I'm using my wrist during my training, but I'm definitely going to keep making use of this time. I'm not going to let it go to waste. After the surgery, I'll probably need 2 months to recover, 2 to 3 months. But after that, I'm going to head straight to the ring. The plan is to have my first fight early next year. This whole situation, this entire mess up has just made me more hungry and more focused. In my eyes, I'm just viewing it as a test from the universe to test how hungry I am, to test how serious I am about my goals.